So far, when describing a histogram or stem and leaf display, the only feature we have focused on was the modal bin or modal stem. It told us where we would find most of the data. There are three other features that make a graph special. The pulse rate data had only one modal bin. Histograms, or stem and leaf displays, that have one modal class are called unimodal. It is possible to have a histogram with two modes. Suppose your sample includes persons that are both young and old, and your histogram displayed diastolic blood pressure. There may well be one peak for the younger persons and another peak for the older persons, since blood pressure does seem to increase with age. We call histograms with two peaks bimodal. And there is even the situation where there is no apparent peak. We call such distributions uniform. A second important feature of a histogram or stem and leaf display is whether it is symmetrical or skewed. This slide displays a histogram that is roughly symmetrical. If we fold along the center, that is along the peak, both sides match up pretty well area-wise. It has approximately the same shape on the left and the right of the center line. Contrast this to these two histograms. A line through the center of the blue histogram would have more area to the left than to the right. There is a thin tail that stretches to the left. This is because there are some unusually low data values. We call this histogram skewed to the left in the direction of the tail. The pink histogram is also not symmetrical. A line through the peak would result in more area to the right of the line than to the left. It has a tail that is stretched out to the right, and this is due to unusually high data values. We call this histogram skewed to the right. The same vocabulary can be used with stem and leaf displays. Our top stem and leaf display is symmetrical. The one on the bottom left is skewed to the left because the tail goes off to the low data values. The one on the right is skewed to the right because the tail goes off to the high end of the data values. So think about it this way: unusually low data values skew to the left, unusually high data values skew to the right. Finally, it is important to announce if we spot a truly unusual data value or values, those that stand off from the others, creating large gaps in our graph. We call these outliers, and depending upon whether they are small data values or large data values, we call them low outliers or high outliers. In the next chapter, we'll be more formal about this, and we'll have a cutoff criterion for deciding if a data value is an outlier or not. For now, just be on the lookout for them. So this slide summarizes what to look for and describe after you have sketched a histogram or a stem and leaf display. You want to describe how many modes it has, whether it has one mode, two modes, or whether it is uniform. You want to describe if it is symmetrical or skewed, and if it is skewed in what direction, to the left or to the right, and you want to announce whether there appear to be any outliers.